Alright, we gotta make this video pretty quick because every attempt at this, somehow the phone, GoPro, YouTube, something fails. Whether it's just something fails. So, guys, we've got here the HMKarambit Hot Metal Karambit Deba. This is the single beveled one. I'm quite fond of this. You know, it allows you to, play around and do things like this. It also, of course, allows you to fillet your fish if you're into all that. If you're, a salmon fisher and you do a lot of camp work, you like hiking and fishing and all that, it's kind of a good mixture of things. And of course, you can also skin very easily with it. So if you like to do a lot of fancy cooking, this is something to consider. And again, this is a nice chopper. So it's a big old blade, 6.3 millimeters thick, these babies, and 385 grams. So, but this here, that's just one of the two models I got right here. No joke. Under my shirt. The other one. So this is the Convex double bevel. This one has two bevels. And this was the first one of the series that was finished. 80 CRV 2. The beauty of the rivet lock, as you can see, is that it'll lock itself into the sheath, just like that, so you can dangle it upside down very safely. And that's what's going on here. I got 2 layers of t-shirt, and I just have it under here, just like that. And I got the string going there. So I got a full undershirt, this black one, tight one. Then I got the string on top of that. I got this on top of that. Then I put the t-shirt on top of that, and that's just to kind of hide the string away, and also give sort of an added layer of, hide and seek with the tail end of the blade. And it just hangs like that upside down. I don't want to ruin my shirt here or anything, but one of the benefits of carrying it like that is that you can really just sort of forget about it. I don't have anything in my pockets, I don't have anything on my belt, I don't have anything on my body. There's nothing carrying this blade other than, this style of hanging it around your neck like this pea collar, right? So I like it because you can take your pants off and they're still exactly where you left them. So very, very, very cool way to carry a knife. Of course, if you don't have anything over it, you got to be careful. If you're just wearing a t-shirt, you got to be careful the ring doesn't get caught and stuff, because it will. It will. And this is one of the last things in the world you want to catch onto something else, pulling out, and then landing on the back end of your heel. So, let's see. There are many ways you can carry this sheath, of course. This is what you get when you buy the product. It's like a very efficient sliver, and you can, with a bunch of cord, wrap this to your mold strap or whatever, and you got yourself your system. It's very easy, especially in America. There's plenty of people who do these custom Kydex kind of stuff. You go, and if you want a professional done Kydex thing, with all sorts of devices attached to it, then you go and get that done in the States. All right, now let's do a little bit of a chop test here and see what this blade is all about. We got a knot right here. Now the two of them, chop pretty well. This is the double bevel Convex. This is a phenomenal blade. And I love Convex grind, and it's kind of popular right now. So, this is the single bevel, this one. And as you can see, it cuts kind of like these straight lines. So, and it grabs on differently. So, they both chop pretty much the same, except with the Convex one, you get kind of a flat cut through straight where your eye is going. It's going straight down, And then the convex one, you're kind of taking these scoops out. I don't know if it's true, but it feels like the double convex, this one, is a little bit more aggressive in depth, but this one is just really clean and precise. So the Deba. One thing you'll notice, right, is that I'm not even using the ring that much for the pinky, even though it's totally usable for that. Sometimes I even have my 2 fingers in there. See, there's so many different ways to hold that grip, and there's even a natural sort of curve here at the top to grab the blade like this, you see, and it's very, you know, for sinew on a cutting board, it's nice to have a slightly chunkier blade. If you're processing meat, you can just, boom, chop that sinew. It's nice. There's a lot of natural skinning motions here, and that curvature, it lines up all the way up in your hand. The whole spine of the blade is in your hand when you're holding it like a pinch grip blade, a kitchen knife. And it's tall enough to actually operate like a kitchen knife. So, and that goes, you know, for both of them. It's kind of intrinsic to the design. It's intrinsic to both of them. I think this one's 5 grams heavier. Not a big deal though. You know, in my mind, this kind of maximizes. It's a very small blade, right? It's right under 25 centimeters long. So, if you really think about it, it's not that big of a blade. I mean, it's the maximum this size blade can get, really. But that allows that blade to perform like something else, like something that's bigger. And that weight at the front, that leverage, and that circular motion in your hand like that, bam! You can just flick it into place. So, very, very, very nice. You can see, you know, here we got a little bit of a piece of wood, you know. Maybe it's something to cut some real stuff. So, the single bevel, you know. It's a pretty nasty chopper. And one of the cool things, of course, right? Let's see if I got a batoning log. My God. Sorry about that. I'm gonna leave that in the video because I am so tired of retaking these videos. Every time you do it, you just forget everything you said in the previous one, and how important everything was. So, you can do these kind of chisel marks, right? Whoops, went a little bit too deep. But now, I need to actually go in a little bit deeper here. Hold on a second, I'll just go like this. And then, just right from above, like a normal chisel. Actually, you know what? I'm gonna do it this way. Right, so you can get kind of creative with the single beveled Bowie blade, while at the same time, you know, getting an insane amount of chopping power out of it. I mean, it's not by any means you know, a weak chopper. And when you got that leverage from the ring, you got that grip, you got pistol grip, you got the finger grip, you got all these kind of grips that you can come up with this system. You can even chop like it's a kitchen knife, right? Very, very interesting stuff. And you know, as you can see, there is no scales on this. This is just a skeleton frame. That's the intended idea with this design. You can put scales on there if you want. There's nothing impressive about a knife maker putting scales on a blade, you know, and I think I can keep the price down to a reasonable, you know, limit and have a completely functional design by just having it the way it is now with all these chamfered areas. It doesn't bother me, and I'm gonna pretty much always, I put a full paracord grip on mine, and I took it off because I prefer it full steel, and it's much easier to conceal too when it's full steel. So, you know, it's just the nature of the beast. I just like it full steel. I like it like this. You get a lot of bang for your buck. You get a lot of bang for your buck right there. And again, it's a pretty small blade once you actually, you know, think about it. The blade full length is, you know, somewhere around 13 centimeters from here to there, right? I mean, the edge itself is probably a bit longer because it's a curvature. One thing when you're chopping, right, using the pistol grip, you know, even if it had scales, my hands wouldn't really be on them because, you know, when I'm holding the blade like this, like, you can see the 3 holes are like pretty much visible all the way through. So it doesn't even, you know, the scales are nice to have on there for good looks. Maybe I think they'll help you a lot with the whittling, and not completely necessary. But again, it's very simple for anybody to put scales on a knife. You just have to finish them. The trick is to finish them and have them slightly undersized than everything else, and finish them completely before you put them on. That's the trick. You gotta finish them completely before you ever put them on here. You don't need the blade to make your scales, right? And that way you can do anything you want with them. You know, all sorts of fun checkering, maybe some skulls or whatever. On this one, I'm gonna cast out of brass skulls, a skull pattern. I just need to figure it out. Just, you know, but you know, this is your convex grind. I'm a huge fan of that right now, and it's a type of edge that you're gonna need some decent stones for. You're gonna need some pretty decent stones with that. But heck, you know, HMKarambit is an insane steel. And there's a knot in there. Pretty nice. So just like that, and just like that. There's a knot right there, but here's one without a decent knot. Oops. So it's very similar to an axe because you got that drop. You got the beard. It's like a bearded blade in a sense, you could call it. And the nice thing is too, right? You see what my hand is? The ring is impacting there. You can't fit nothing down because I actually hit the ring first. But all my fingers are protected in that space. Now if you get a really deep penetration there, it doesn't, you know, if you go beyond a certain point, then of course your fingers are going to feel a little bit, but you see, that ring allows you to actually hit those surfaces pretty good. I mean, my hand is right on there, you see? The ring is stopping the blade from crushing my fingers. So, you know, there's a lot of cool things. There's a lot of cool things about this blade that lend it to be pretty handy, especially when it's full steel. There's a lot of things you can't, like, the only reason I'm, you know, going personally full steel is because I have to actually take it as far as possible to the point where it's unbearable to have it full steel before I'm convinced that I'm going to have a handle on this particular one, because this was the first one that was made, and I like it like this. I don't see why I would really need to put a handle on it. Very nice for chopping. Almost slipped out. Yeah, it did. There's a knot there. So, decent blade. A lot of fun these blades. And of course, one of the most important things you're going to need these blades for is your making a fire. So oops. Whittling is definitely a skill. A lot more than... It really is definitely a skill. Actually, this is not whittling. This is feather sticking. So, that blade shape, you know, it really allows you to gain some leverage. Extra metal, you know. The convex grind really allows you to bite into that metal and get a lot of strength out of that steel. Right? There's a lot of clearance on the blade, and the entire space from here to there, it's free for you to sharpen. It's very easy to actually get an edge on there because it's so thick here, and the blade, the edge is so far from your knuckles that this is basically as thick as a guard will ever get on a basic, you know, blade. So, you know, there's a really nice added benefit of that. And you see, this is another very careful geometry some people might be curious about. That's to allow you, you know, to actually, you know, flip the blade in your hand, right, safely. So I just don't want to fuck around too much because it's pretty heavy, large, really sharp object. So, but this clearance is very important for many things, and one of them is so that it doesn't catch on. See, it doesn't catch on to fabric, it doesn't catch on to objects, right? Everything slides off right over the edge. So we're not going to get any snagging, and that's important for when it's under your shirt, right? When you pull it out from under your shirt, so nothing snags on there. And it reduces the chances of cutting fabric, but it allows you, if you're going to cut fabric, it allows you to actually slide the fabric on there if you want to cut into it, right? So, but I don't want to wreck this too much, so just very nasty edge on this. I really recommend the convex edges, but again, you need a good stone for it. And the ultimate goal, anyway, for this product is to actually have the option of the full steel and then one that's got a fully injection molded handle. So that's really the goal. And I wish to also see what it's like to have the exact same product in LMAX in the future. You know, some kind of tough stainless spring steel. That would be really, really super cool, because, you know, stainless with the injection molded handle on a frame like this, can't really go wrong. It's gonna stick around for quite a long time. A lot of people are gonna be able to enjoy it. There's enough metal on the edge to sharpen it for freaking 100+ years. And you know, if it's just it's small frame, right? It's not too long. You're not gonna hurt anybody. This is still realistic size for skinning your deer and skinning your moose and skinning your animals. So completely realistic, completely reasonable size to have, you know, around. Again, 6.2 millimeters thick steel. These are, you would be able to make these without a CNC cutting style tools, but super awesome blade, and it comes with the sheath of course, made a bit of a mess in here. And then we got the single beveled one right here. And this is, you know, if you're kind of into that sort of more fine cutting, if you're really into those really thin slices, and you like things to cut straight, you know, if you've sharpened Debas before, then this is perfect for you. You know, why go with something that's unfamiliar? Why not go with something that's actually extremely familiar for you? Especially if you're a chef. You know, if you're working in the kitchens and you're wondering what type of like hunting knife or something you want to bring with you, well, why not bring something that's actually familiar, which is, you know, something like a Deba kitchen knife that's great for all those things, and all your, you know, skinning and meat processing and your just you freaking name it. I mean, everybody who's used a single beveled blade knows that when you're cutting from the outside, you can get those laser fine, really precise, beautiful cuts. And another benefit is you're only really sharpening one side. This side, the flat side, you're only kind of just touching it off as ever so slightly as possible, you know, just to remove those burrs and get yourself some kind of thing on that side. But you want to keep it pretty minimal on that side. You're really doing all the work here. And because it's fully hardened steel, you're going to need some coarse stones and start working from up at the top and make your way down. So, you know, don't work too much at the bottom. You want to work your way up at the top too, and that's quite important. But most of the time you're just going to flip on a tiny little micro bevel anyway, and that's more than enough. So that's your single beveled version right there. Very nasty and very crafty too. I think the two of them chop just as good as each other. This is very much, you know, your carpenter's axe in many ways. You can hear it. And that means, you know, if you're carving cool things, it's not difficult to do that. You know, with the single bevel, you can do a lot of funky things. Right? So you don't have to be at all shy with this very wild beast. She got a big bite, but she's very easy to handle. Catch you guys later.